During the day, the sun beams down on Israel's border. Only a handful of men are here and their families, attempting to create a little island of civilization in an ocean of wilderness. They work hard at the peaceful tasks of agriculture, but ever alert for a possible assault by Arab marauders from the other side of the border. When night comes, they take turns standing guard. The long borderland of Israel will be wrapped in a foreboding silence. But only too often, another border incident. And in the cities, the next morning's newspapers report another infiltration. Mile after mile of Israel's frontier passes through desolate mountains, the most insecure border imaginable. Beyond are nations who have not given up the idea of eventual war. Israel has decided that its first line of defense shall be a long line of densely populated agricultural settlements. The bare and eroded slopes, now covered with worthless rocks, are to be replaced with a chain of villages. No one is more aware of the almost impossible goal that the people of Israel have set for themselves than this man, the instructor of one of the border settlements in the hills. The barrenness, the crust of centuries of neglect, eroded, parched wastes must somehow be transformed. The land has to be cleared before it can be cultivated. The task of removing the rocks seems endless. There are not enough people, not enough machines. Being no magician, the instructor goes to seek new help. He goes to the headquarters of the Jewish National Fund in Jerusalem. The arduous difficulties of land redemption are an old story to the planners of Karen Kayemet. Dr. Joseph White's chief of the Land Reclamation Department offers encouragement by promising more mechanical aids. But the battle with nature is a long one, and the same for many people. This instructor's work village is not alone. Scores of others have undertaken the back-breaking job of wresting 2.5 million dunams of land from the wilderness. That is the amount, 2.5 million dunams, which are needed if the people of Israel are to become self-supporting. The most trying of all land reclamation is in the mountains. Clearing away all the stones scattered over the redeemable surface takes human labor. But strenuous labor alone could not possibly accomplish even a part of the land reclamation in these hills. Tools and machines must be used. The sages of ancient times once said that mountains are hard, but iron is still harder and can cut mountains. Today, too, steel and iron help to cut into the rugged borderland. When the soil, which has been cleared of rocks, is found to be infested with roots and wild shrubs, an extra effort must be made to uproot, burn, and remove this unwanted vegetation. Rather than wait for large tracts to be cleared before cultivation is begun, even the smallest strip of land is planted the moment it is uncovered. While cultivating one small parcel, the settlers are busy clearing the next tract of land to be put under the plow. In this way, at the end of 5 years, instead of merely beginning to develop a farmstead, most of the land will already have yielded crops. Of equally great significance is the fact that the laborers, who are new immigrants to Israel, are already wage earners today and will tomorrow support themselves and their families from the produce they raise. hired day laborers will have been turned into farmers. The reclamation of the mountain lands is beautiful to behold. Witness the uncultivated hills where ruin and decay were the inheritance from the past, now transformed into terraced slopes. A garden of stones will be turned into an orchard of trees, which will soon blossom forth. The settlement of Kiryat Anavim also once was a desolate hill covered with rocks. Today, the farmers of Kiryat Anavim and their families enjoy a rich and pleasant life. The villagers have created their own remarkable prosperity, filled with leisure and culture. At present, too much of Israel's food is imported. In Haifa harbor, ships from many countries discharge their long-awaited cargoes: grains, meat, new seeds, sugar. Precious currency must still be spent abroad on food that could come from Israel's soil once it has been freed from the grip of neglect. Food is the prime goal of Israel's reclamation program. The Hula swamps in the north of Israel is a good example of how the master plan is being carried out. Here, 60,000 dunams of potential farmlands are covered by marsh weeds, the last great marshland in the country. Now a daring project is underway. With machines and engineers from the United States, a gigantic scheme to make the swamps disappear is in progress. In the very heart of the marshes, two giant floating dredges are grinding their way slowly through the jungle of weeds and roots. Their purpose? To dig large canals which will drain away the swamps. Day and night in 3 shifts, men and machines are at work. Once the waters collected here and became a breeding place for the dread disease of malaria, the whole valley was infested, and the germ took a heavy toll of the farmers who tried to cultivate surrounding lands. But when the work is finished and the fetid, diseased water drained away by the wide man-made channels, extremely fertile land will have been reclaimed and turned over to some new settlements. A byproduct of this very practical agricultural scheme is the peat bed that will have been unearthed. Peat, formed by centuries of nature's decay, will be used for fuel, for fertilizer, and for a wide variety of the raw materials which Israel's growing industries require. But food is the prime goal, and new land for the ever-increasing population. Here also a new security link will be forged onto Israel's chain of border settlements. The valley of Emig Yezreel is a signpost of the Hula of tomorrow. Just as the Hula is a valley of desolation today, so was the Emig Yezreel not so long ago. Then a malaria-ridden swampland, it was purchased by the Jewish National Fund. Today, rid of its pestilential marshes, it has regained its ancient beauty. It is the heart of Israel's agricultural life. Fields of vegetables and grains have replaced the former wastes. It is Israel's breadbasket. It is once again what the Bible described as the Emig Yezreel of yore, truly a land of milk and honey. The transformation of Israel reflects the work of many. No less important than the worker in the field is the highly skilled scientist in the laboratory. All contribute to the redemption of the land of Israel. Which plot of soil is worth redeeming and which is not? Which soil will flourish if only a little fertilizer is added? And which fertilizer is best for a particular strip of land? Where shall the nation first invest its small resources, its growing but still limited strength, and in what quantities? These are momentous decisions, and Israel's scientists are called upon to advise the next course of action. Every step is crucial. Their responsibility is great. A practical application of the scientists' laboratory tests is being undertaken at Engedi, in the southeast corner of Israel at the Dead Sea. Can a living land be created near the Dead Sea? This ground is far below sea level, the lowest surface ground on the entire earth, parched and arid. Here at Engedi, another story of colonization is unfolding. The people of Engedi are scientific pioneers. The thriving oasis which once was here and of which the Bible speaks is to be recreated. Solomon's vineyards as they were when he sang, "My beloved is unto me like a cluster in the vineyards of Engedi." Instead of the rock-strewn patchwork, date palms which once gave shade and fruit. Already the goats which are mentioned in the book of Samuel are beginning to make their reappearance. Today they are tended by sturdy herdsmen who must double as guards at this outer stretch of Israel. If the project at Engedi is a success, then farming will be undertaken at many places along the shores of the Dead Sea. Once proved this wilderness can be tamed, the plow will cut into new lands. The prosperity of yesteryear will be restored, and a new cluster of strong villages will arise in Israel's southeastern corner. It is hard to believe that this land, the desert of the Negev, long ago supported thousands of people. Israel has since witnessed many dark events of destruction, which have denuded the land of its cities, its villages, and its people. Here is a map showing the ancient fertility of Israel. As men strive to restore the soil to its once golden state of prosperity, the biblical sayings are not forgotten. They have taken on fresh meaning. And the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. Yes, men can subdue the wilderness. To make the dream come true, practical steps are being taken everywhere. In the great tree nursery at Gilad near Beersheba, a wide variety of seedlings are planted to provide a new generation of greenery for bare lands all over the country. Various types are tried. Not all trees survive the climate. Only the best are selected. Some are being grown for industrial purposes, to find the right wood pulp with which to make the wrapping paper, newsprint, and cardboard boxes. But the primary purpose of this nursery is to provide trees to hold back the desert sand. The desert does not stand still. It is always on the move, an ever-present menace to civilization. To anchor the sands, shelter belts are needed. There can never be enough trees. And so the landscape of the country is changing. An army of saplings planted 4 deep are beginning to line both sides of roads, erecting a much-needed natural barrier against the shifting sand dunes. Trees and roads. Without roads, advancement is impossible. The strategic lanes of communication carry people, supplies, and building materials. Roads are another basic stepping stone to progress. The important network of connecting links between communities is increasing every day. It is no longer believed that this southern part of Israel must remain a dry and arid country. A nationwide irrigation project will bring water from the north to the south and from west to east. The entire area of Israel will be covered by canals or water pipes, carrying enough water to irrigate every available dunam of land. But meanwhile, the simple, everyday pioneering job goes on. It is symbolized best, perhaps, by the young outpost settlement of Spielberg in the middle of the Negev desert. Spielberg is another pilot project to determine whether this area can provide food as well as security for the entire nation. The villagers of Spielberg have a distinguished helper. He is David Ben Gurion, the former Prime Minister of the State of Israel. Despite his age, Ben Gurion decided to give up everything temporarily and serve as a shining example to the youth of Israel. He made himself a dramatic focal point for the pioneering spirit of the new nation. His own words tell best his reasons for the new and hard life he has chosen. His words are symbolic of the aspirations of the people of Israel. The mountains of our country still stand naked and pray for the hand of the planter to restore their pristine woods and forests. We must remove the curse of the sands which cover the fertile and bountiful seashore. And above all, the plains of the Negev, expansive and mysterious. Who can say whether or not it is there that the great future of our state lies? We are under no obligation to accept the heritage of desolation from the past, for it is within our power to build and revive the very earth. This is the great mission which the Jewish National Fund is called upon to undertake in our own day.